Heroes of the Trojan War. This is the last expansion that we unbox in this series, and I'm quite excited for this one. Why? Because the Trojan War is huge. It was this mythological conflict between Achaeans, the Greeks from the Peloponnesian Peninsula, and the city of Troy in Anatolia, the modern-day Turkey. And the cool thing is that it was actually based on real events, on real conflicts that happened in that area in Aegean Sea 100 years ago. And those events were described in stories that were hugely popular in the ancient world. And they become even more popular once they got written down. The most famous account of those events is, of course, Iliad by Homer. And both Greeks and later Romans, they love those stories. The heroes of Iliad served as role models for people of ancient world. The people based their morality on the stories that were about the heroes in the Trojan War. And these stories come to life again and again throughout the history in the works of Roman authors, in works of Shakespeare. There are in our days there are fantastic books by Dan Simmons. These are science fiction books, actually inspired by the events of the Trojan War. They are called Ilium and Olympus. And that those two books are actually what inspired me originally to read the Iliad, the original, translated of course, but that's what got me really hooked into this story. There was a Hollywood movie not that long ago. It was okay, yeah, even the language that we use now has traces of the stories of Ilium. Like when your computer searches for Trojans, that refers to that wooden horse that was built by Odysseus. Same, the Danaan gift. Have you heard someone talking about Danaan gift? Yes. That's another reference to the same story about the horse. Everyone knows what Achilles' heel is, right? Anyway, I ramble too long, but that's because I'm absolutely fascinated by the fact that something that happened 3 millennia ago still lives as a meme in the modern day. And Mythic Battles, and this expansion, is another testimony of how profound that story is. So enough rambling, let's look at the minis. Okay, so what is in the box? This is in the box. The scenario pamphlets, French one and English one. The pamphlet has a single scenario with forces of Greek and forces of Trojan army are put against each other. It is just a single scenario for 2 players. It is played on the Tartarus map. Okay, cool. Then you get the sliders, you get the activation cards. Let's look at those. Okay, so we have Agamemnon, We have Ajax. We have Penthesilea and Diomedes and Paris. Almost forgot about him. Yeah, very nice. So the minis are here. They look fantastic. Let's look at them one by one. And let's start with Paris. Okay, so Paris is the guy who started the whole bloody thing when he abducted the wife of Menelaus, who was king of Sparta. So, well, Paris was son of Priam, the king of Troy, or Ilium, as it was called in Greece. And, well, with some gods meddling, he kidnapped the wife of Menelaus, the beautiful Helen. She was said to be the most beautiful woman in the whole Greece. And that's how the whole thing started. The Menelaus' brother, king of Argos, this guy, Agamemnon, he mobilized a whole bunch of Greek kings, and they sailed their ships to the Troy and started 10 years of siege of Troy. Oh, I'm rambling again. Let's get to the Paris stats. Okay, so Paris costs only 2 recruitment points, has 3 activations, 1 Art of War, Initiative, Archer, and Climb. Medicore stats, 5 life. And let's have a look at his abilities. Judgment of Paris. At the end of Paris' activation, he may look at a total of up to 3 cards from the top of 1 or more players' decks, including his own. He must replace each card in its own deck, but can choose whether to replace it at the top or at the bottom. If he looks at more than 1 card from the same deck, then he can replace each card as he chooses and decide the order they are replaced. If you played Magic the Gathering, there is a ability called Scry, which allows you to look at the top of your own deck and then decide if you put the cards back on top in any order, or you can put them at the bottom. So this is the same thing, except he can do that with the opponent's deck as well. This means that not only this allows you to manipulate your deck and dig for the stuff that you want to get, but you also can sabotage your opponent by, let's say that he's looking for his God's card to absorb an Umphalos. You can look at the top, and if there are any cards of his God, you can put them at the bottom. So this is a nice ability. It is, can be countered because you can easily draw extra cards by spending an Art of War, or search your deck for a card using an Art of War card. But anyway, his second ability is Apollo's Arrow. If Paris targets a hero with a range 1+ attack, then the defense of target hero suffers -2 defense. That is pretty cool. So he's really skilled with a bow, apparently. He even has archer talent. This further boosts his shooting skill. And he has a range of 2, so that's pretty good. He has climb, so yeah, you can put him on a rock and snipe away. Perhaps looking for some heroes with really vulnerable heals. Okay, since we already took out the Agamemnon mini out of the box, let's look him up. Okay, where is Menelaus? No, this is Hector. Menelaus. So the Menelaus was the leader of the Greek expedition. He was the most respected king of all of the heroes in this story are actually kings. This was a Greek alliance. There was nothing like a Greek kingdom or state at that time. There were just cities with kings, and they sometimes worked together, sometimes they attacked each other. But let's look at Agamemnon. 3 recruitment points, 3 activations, 3 Art of War. Wow, that's pretty good. He has bolster, phalanx, and leader. So very good leadership abilities. Again, his stats are not amazing, but he is supposed to be, I guess, a support character with abilities that will boost other units. Okay, Commander, his ability. At the end of Agamemnon's activation, search your deck for an Art of War card and add it to your hand. That is very nice, gives you a card advantage. Will make you sure that you always have some Art of War cards in your hand. And the second, the Scepter of Hephaestus. This one does cost an Art of War card. By the way, the Scepter of Hephaestus is the staff that... it was a really famous staff that he has, that was forged by Hephaestus. It was given to Zeus, and it passed through, several gods, demigods, and humans, until it eventually got to Agamemnon. Anyway, what does it do? In order to use the Scepter of Hephaestus, Agamemnon must be the first unit to activate in your turn. During this turn, limit of activations is raised from 2 to 3, and a second/third activation maneuvers cost 0 Art of War cards. Ooh, so another very good ability, costs only single Art of War card. This is slightly similar to what Athena does, except Agamemnon won't fetch the activation cards for you. But it is still very good. I think Agamemnon will be one of my favorite characters to play. Next, who shall we look at next? So we looked at a Trojan, then at a Greek. Let's have a look at another Trojan, or not really. Penthesilea. She was an Amazon, and she fought for Troy. Very sexy, very cool sculpt. Yeah, it's beautiful. And she accidentally murdered her sister during a hunt. So she decided she will go to war and try to die. And she was successful. Achilles killed her eventually during the Trojan War. Okay, let's look at the dashboard. 3 recruitment points. It's good. 4 activation, 2 Art of War, bolster, leader, and climb. So another support character. Charisma. Well, her stats are slightly better than the characters that we have looked at so far. And her abilities: Charisma. A friendly unit of troops that is activated in Penthesilea surroundings gets +1 offense, +1 defense, and +1 movement for the remainder of that activation. Friendly unit of troops, and it doesn't cost anything. This is fantastic. Another very good supporting ability. And the Morning of Penthesilea. When Penthesilea is killed, place a Mourn token on a unit that killed her. Unit with a Mourn token cannot retaliate or use any talents or powers. When a unit with a Mourn token is activated, all it can do is remove the Mourn counter as a complex action. Very nice ability, and it actually ties in with with the Penthesilea story as well. So when Achilles killed her and he removed her helmet, he was such struck with her beauty that he fell in love with her after she was dead, and he mourned what he did. Okay, and we have 2 Greek heroes left. We have Diomedes. So Achilles, Ajax, and Diomedes were 3 most accomplished heroes in the Greek army. Diomedes here at one point of the Trojan War fought Ares. He actually managed to wound Ares with his spear. Very dynamic, very cool sculpt. Nice. So, what does Diomedes do? Again, 3 recruitment points. As Phalanx, Bolster, and Leader. It looks like all of these guys have talents that boost your troops. He has above average stats for a hero. And we have the God Killer. Costs 1 Art of War card and replaces an attack. It gives him range plus... No. Does it give range +3? Diomedes gets +3 offense when the target of his attack is a divinity. Oh, okay. So he will attack when he's attacking a god or a titan. His attack skill will be not 6 but 9, but it will cost you an Art of War card. Doom of the Gods. Talents and powers of divinities do not affect Diomedes even if he wants them to. So this is another thing that will give him boosts against the gods. Pretty good. Well, if you want to win the skirmish by killing opponent's god, I guess Diomedes is your guy. Okay, and the last of Greek heroes in this box is Ajax. He has fantastic sculpt. A hulking giant almost among the other heroes. He was second only to Achilles himself. One thing about his square shield, historians actually think that Ajax was imported into the Trojan War story from a different period of time, from an older period of time. The whole Trojan War and Iliad, it is not not as it is described in the Iliad. It didn't happen like that. It's actually an amalgamation of different stories of the conflicts that were happening in the late Bronze Age. We know that because the language that is used in different parts of Iliad comes from different historical era. At least that's what historians think. And Ajax here is described with this square shield. And at least I read one hypothesis where that says that he's coming from an older period in the history. Cool. Let's look at him. Okay, Ajax. Again, just 3 recruitment points. Force of Nature, Mighty Throw, and Leader. 4 activations, 1 Art of War. Very, very good stats. Almost on Achilles level. And the abilities. Wall of Achaeans. Whenever Ajax would lose any vitality from an attack, roll 3 dice before they are applied. Each blank result cancels 1 of the wounds, boosting his survivability. He looks very similar to the role that Achilles would play in your army. And the Shame of Ajax. At the end of each of Ajax activations, except when he deploys, check this power. Unless he wounded an enemy during this activation, Ajax must discard 1 Art of War card or lose 1 vitality. So this is pretty cool. This is basically a debuff for him. And I guess they did this to, well, one thing was to justify his low point cost in relation to his pretty good stats, and at the same time it again ties into the Ajax story. So Ajax died on the same day as Achilles did, and he died by his own hand. So when Achilles died, there was an argument who should get Achilles' armor. Well, it was Odysseus who got his armor, and Ajax was so ashamed of that he just jumped on his own sword and killed himself. So the Greeks have lost 2 of their greatest heroes in a single day. Okay, so these are all of the heroes of the Trojan War from this box. There they are. Did we talk about Penthesilea? We did not. Damn. Penthesilea. Where is she? Oh, we did. Okay. But there are other heroes of the Trojan War. In the Mythic Battles Pantheon, of course, we have Achilles and Odysseus that we have talked about before. And there is also a Hector who comes in the Pandora's Box expansion. Yeah, Hector is the son of Priam. He was the greatest hero on the Trojan side. So I just wanted to show him as well. Yeah, Hector. Okay, thank you very much for watching. This was probably much longer than you expected. As I said, this is the last expansion that I review in this series, but I will create one more video that will summarize all of the expansions, and I will give you some recommendations what you should get, especially since the pledge manager for Mythic Battles 1.5 is now open. So Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the video, and hit that bell button as well so that you get notified when I publish new video, and I will see you next time. Bye.